So the union budget is out, and let's be honest, it can often feel like this super complex maze of numbers and policies. You're left wondering, what does it all actually mean for the country? And more importantly, for me? Well, today we're going to cut through the noise. We're going to break down the key points of the 2026-27 budget and make it all make sense. Let's dive in. To really get the vibe of this budget, this quote from the finance minister is the perfect place to start. It sets a really clear tone, doesn't it? The government is basically saying, look, we're all about decisive action, not hesitation. We're focused on real reform, not just talk. And our priority is the people, not just popular policies. This is the mindset framing everything we're about to see. So to tackle this whole thing, we've broken it down into 5 key areas. First, we'll look at the big picture vision. Then we'll get into the major plans for the economy. After that, we'll see how they're investing in people. Then, the part you've probably been waiting for, your taxes. And finally, we'll take a peek at the nation's overall financial health. First up, the vision. You see, every budget has a philosophy, a story it's trying to tell with all those numbers. And this one is built around what the government is calling 3 fundamental duties, or kartavya. Let's find out what they are. Okay, so these 3 duties, they're like the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. You can think of it like this. Number 1, get the economy growing and keep it growing. Number 2, help people achieve their dreams by building up their skills and creating opportunities. And number 3, make sure every single family can get the resources they need. Keep these 3 ideas in your head as we dig into the details. All right, let's roll into our second section, which connects directly to that first duty, powering the economic engine. This is all about the big ticket items, the major plans designed to really kickstart manufacturing and build up infrastructure all across the country. You can see a really clear strategy here. The budget is placing some big bets on high-tech, high-growth sectors. Take Biopharma Shakti. That's a massive 10,000 crore rupee push to make India a world leader in advanced medicines. Then there's the Semiconductor Mission 2.0, which is a super ambitious plan to build our own chip industry from the ground up. And you know how critical chips are for everything these days. We're also seeing huge funding for electronics and even container manufacturing to boost our self-reliance. And so importantly, there's a new growth fund for MSMEs, the small and medium businesses that are truly the backbone of our economy. And here is the number that really shows you the scale of this ambition. A whopping 12.2 lakh crore rupees set aside for public capital expenditure. Now, what does that mean? In simple terms, we're talking about the fundamental building blocks of the economy. New roads, modern railways, bigger ports, better digital networks. This is a huge investment meant to pave the way for future growth. The budget actually introduces this cool metaphor of a reform express. And that image says a lot, right? It's meant to tell us that these changes aren't just random stops along the way. Nope, they're part of a continuous, fast-moving journey. By saying this is a continuation of over 350 reforms since 2025, the message is clear. The government's agenda for economic change is full steam ahead. Okay, let's shift gears to our third section, investing in India's people. This is where those second and third duties we talked about, helping people fulfill their aspirations and ensuring access for all, really come to life through some very specific policies. So here, the focus really pivots to what experts call human capital. In healthcare, there are big plans to bring in 100,000 new professionals and train a massive workforce of caregivers, addressing a huge need. For education, we're looking at new integrated university townships to create amazing learning hubs. For our farmers, there's a cool tech-forward idea called Bharat Vestar, which is basically an AI tool that gives farmers advice in their own language. And check this out. To empower women entrepreneurs, the budget is creating She-Marts, community-owned stores that build on the amazing success of self-help groups. All right, Section 4. This is the one that hits closest to home for pretty much all of us. Your taxes simplified. Let's get into what this budget actually means for your wallet and how you file your taxes. Okay, this is the big one. This is the headline news on the tax front. A completely new Simplified Income Tax Act is coming. It's set to replace the old, complicated law from 1961. The whole point is to make life much, much easier for the average person with clearer rules and redesigned forms. Now let's look at some direct relief. The budget is making big changes to TCS, or tax collected at source. That's a tax you pay upfront on certain things. As you can see, for overseas tour packages, the rate is being slashed and simplified to a flat 2%. That is a huge drop from the old confusing rates. And for families sending money abroad for education or medical needs, that rate is also falling from 5% down to 2%. That's real savings. And it doesn't stop there. There are a few other changes aimed at just making life easier. For example, any interest you get from a motor accident claims tribunal will now be tax-free. You'll also get more time to fix or revise your tax returns, and the filing deadlines themselves will be staggered for different groups. That should mean less of a mad rush on the last day, which is good for everyone. Okay, for our fifth and final section, let's zoom out. We've talked about the economy, people, and our own taxes. Now let's check the nation's books. How is the government managing its own finances? This is all about fiscal discipline and the big long-term picture. Before we dive into the numbers, let's just quickly get on the same page with a key term, fiscal deficit. What is it? It's actually super simple. It's just the gap between what the government earns in income and what it spends. A smaller gap, or a smaller deficit, means the government has to borrow less money, which is generally a sign of good financial health. So what's the story this chart is telling us? Well, the most important thing to see here is the trend. It's going down. The fiscal deficit as a slice of the whole economy, or GDP, is projected to shrink just a little bit, from 4.4% to a target of 4.3%. Now, it might seem like a small step, but it's a very clear signal of the government's commitment to getting its financial house in order. And this slide really shows you the long game, the big picture goal that all this financial discipline is working towards. The debt to GDP ratio, which compares the national debt to the size of the entire economy, is on a downward path. The plan is to get it down from over 55% today to a target of 50% by 2031. If they can pull that off, it gives the government way more financial flexibility for important spending in the years ahead. So let's wrap this all up. We've got a budget that's making huge bets on manufacturing and infrastructure. It's investing in people's skills and health, and it's trying to simplify taxes. All of this is being balanced with the goal of keeping the nation's finances on a steady path. This really leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? With this roadmap for growth and a clear focus on discipline, will this budget actually steer India closer to its huge 2047 vision of becoming a developed nation? Well, the answer to that is something we'll see unfold in the years to come.